Today we are going to start our sixth chapter, Indian Struggle Against Colonialism. Important points of this chapter are: first, struggle before 1857; second, freedom struggle of 1857; third, background of founding the Indian National Congress; fourth, founding of Indian National Congress; fifth, moderate and extremist; sixth, armed revolutionary in India; seventh, Mahatma Gandhi, under his leadership, non-violent resistance movement; 8. Quit India movement of 1942. Let's study in detail. First point, struggle before 1857. In this period, many revolts arose against the British government. We are going to study in detail one by one. In 1818, the British East India Company took complete charge of Khandesh. The Bhils in the region of Satpura, Satmala and Ajinta united against the British. Trimbakji Dengle, an advisor of Bajirao Peshwa II, was imprisoned by the British. He somehow managed to escape from the prison. Under the leadership of Godaji and Mahipa, nephew of Trimbakji, the Bhils revolted against the British. There were 8,000 of them who participated in the revolt. Then the revolt of the Bhils was started. Captain Briggs blocked all the supplies coming to the Bhils. At that time, Mount Stuart Elphiston, a British officer, adopted a policy of pacifying the Bhils. They were recruited to protect the travellers. He offered them jobs and pensions. However, the policy of concerning the Bhils was also continued. Major Morin left no alternative for the Bhils but to surrender. Around 1822, the revolt under the leadership of Harya Bhils was crushed by Captain Robinson. Another revolt of the Bhils, in which thousands of Bhils participated, was crushed by Lieutenant Autran. However, he also stayed among the Bhils and won their confidence. He tried to bring them in the mainstream of urban life. Lieutenant Autran, he adopted measures to weaken the opposition from Bhil. The measures were like declaration of amnesty, means liberty or to forgive, land grants, agricultural loans tagai, reprieve, which mean to cancel or postpone from the past crime, and recruitment in army to weaken the opposition from Bhils. Hansaji Nayak. Hansaji Nayak ruled the region of Nanded. He refused to merge his territory in Nizam dominion. On the contrary, he conquered some forts of the Nizam. A war was inevitable. Major Pittman, Captain Evans, Captain Taylor, with a regiment of 400 soldiers, joined Nizam for his protection. The war continued for 25 days. In the end, Hansaji was defeated. Revolt was also started against the British government in Satara. In Satara district there were Ramoshi. The Ramoshi community revolted under the leadership of Chitur Singh. Santaji Nayak and Umaji Nayak were among the captains heading the Ramoshi group. They seized the consignment of some moneylender that was in the transit from Pune to Mumbai. In 1824, Umaji Nayak seized the government treasury at Bamburd, that is presently Shivaji Nagar in Pune. Both together with their activities made the British desperate. To put an end to their activities, the British government declared an award of 5,000 each for catching Umaji Nayak and his mates Bhujba, Pandya and Yasaji. Meanwhile, Umaji Nayak regularly held meetings with his people and planned further actions. In order to stop their activity, the British government ordered the peasants not to offer the rebels any food, clothing, shelter, and money. In addition, people who were threatened with confiscation of their lands. They also ordered people to inform the government about Umaji's whereabouts if they come to know of it. Captain Davis, with the help of 5 companies of cavalry, began chasing Umaji. However, he did not succeed in his task. The rebels were continuously at war with the British, often changing location from Satara via Bhor to Kolhapur. Captain McIntosh took over the task of capturing Umaji. Umaji ordered his maid to kill the British officers. However, the British caught Umaji near Bhor. He was presented in the court and was sentenced to death. He was hanged at Pune. In 1828, Pont Sawan Tandulwadikar, the in-charge Kiledar of Mahadevgarh, rebelled against the British. However, the British promptly crushed it. Angered by the British policies, the members of Sawantwadi aristocracy got together and revolted against the British. However, Spooner means a political agent or representative of the British government present in the Indian princely state. The political agent was successful in crushing it. Even after their defeat, a few of Sawantwadi aristocracy re-attempted a revolt. By then, the British had imposed military law in the area. Captain Outram finally managed to end the revolt permanently. After the small revolt in different parts of our country, the revolt in Kolhapur was also started by Gadkari. In Kolhapur state, there used to be keepers of forts called Gadkari. A Gadkari was a salaried officer in the Maratha regime. However, the British government took away the authority of the Gadkari and stopped paying them salary. The first resistance to this decision was raised at Samangarh near Kolhapur. Captain Outram arrived with his platoons, which means subdivision of company of soldier, to bring the Gadkari under control. However, in the first run, the rebels were successful in taking charge of Panhala, Pavangarh, and Vishalgarh. Later, more equipped platoons arrived from Madras, and the Gadkaris were forced to surrender. Revolt of the Pegs. Since medieval period, there was a system of employing soldiers known as pegs, soldiers on call who own their weapons, who served the king of petty state in Odisha. They were given free farmland for cultivation by these kings. When not on war, they lived by cultivating these land. In the time of war, they were called to fight for their king. In 1803, the British took over Odisha from the Bhosle of Nagpur. The British seized the lands cultivated by the Pegs for generations. It enraged the Pegs. Also, the salt tax had made salt an unaffordable commodity, making daily life of people miserable. This situation resulted in an armed revolt by Pegs. Bakshi Chakbandhu Vidyadhar was the leader of this revolt.